Yes.
Sweet.
Okay, so starting off with Ricky, what is the future
What?
of
The
leader
future and what?
envisioned in the position of leader? So what do you see continuing on for this position? Like, what's the point of it, I guess?
Yes. Well, traditionally, it's been kind of not too important of a position because we have kind of a council of people that would make big decisions. We've needed it before to make sure, we can do guild missions and upgrades and everything works fine. But at the moment, it's not as important of a title, especially WASI distributed power again, which is great. The main purpose, once the guild government becomes more functional, the glorious leader is involved in all the committees and gets to help appoint things like the Supreme Court Justice and permanent seats on committees, which then have power over the departments and make a lot of decisions for the guild. So really, as where I see it, the main importance of the glorious leader is to, have a calm, and level head so that you can, not have the wrong people on certain committees, or make sure everyone at least is on the up and up, and also to deal with any crises that might happen. Ideally, there aren't going to be crises, but that's kind of someone has to be there, around, so they're available in case of emergencies, whatever those might be.
All right. Same question for you, Okins.
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Oh, okay. So the original question is, what is the future envisioned in the position of leader? So, what exactly do you see? Like, what do you see the point of being leader? Like, what is it for?
Well, what I see is the glorious leader, as Ricky stated it, if that's, I guess, the title that it's going under, is to monitor and be the final say in a lot of these committees that are getting put together, so that way nothing gets out of hand and no committee is completely in charge of one or another.
All right. Okay. Okins, you're gonna start off with this next question. What are the challenges that you foresee with being leader, and how do you expect to overcome them?
Challenges in being leader for myself personally would be people not listening to whoever's in charge. But to counteract that, it's, we don't want to exclude anybody from guild events or anything like that, but there can be disciplinary actions taken place to monitor those, and I'm pretty sure there's a committee for that, but I'm not sure of that, how many committees there are just yet.
All right. Same question for you, Ricky.
Yeah. So there are obviously some problems. I think Okins did highlight a lot of them, that what exactly the leader is going to do and how they're going to deal with certain problems. To elaborate, I'd say there might be some tough choices that people are going to look to the leader to set policy on, even if it's not necessarily their job. Kind of like with the president, if we have to decide on having guild, like, more strict regulations to get into the guild, which has been suggested, the guild leader is going to probably be the one that people listen to on that. And there's going to be kind of smaller issues that come up that are they're going to be tricky, and they could be controversial. Probably not, but the main issues, I think, are going to be visibility and making sure the officers actually are, doing anything, getting into committees and stuff. So, because if that all runs aground, it's going to look bad for the leader, and it's really, a lot of that is on the leader, or, and the officers as well. So I say the number one issue is going to be getting people to respect the guild government. For me,
all right. Okay. Okay. Another question. This is also to Ricky again. I'm sorry, this is user submitted. As leader, what will you do to provide more food in the bank? I am a heavy eater, and there's not enough vegan choices and thief food. What will you do about the prejudice against thieves?
That's fair. Not probably too important, but fair. I'd say the guild bank's of course open to anyone to put in food if they want, and there's a lot of food in there already. I think fitting options for vegans and carnivores, not fish eaters, but that can't be helped.
Fish?
Yeah, there's no fish in the game, so I'd say probably. Well, there's clams for seafood. Probably, if they really want it, they can raise it with. Any of the officers probably would be willing to buy the right food for them. It's just an issue that hasn't been raised, and talking to people and finding out what they really want, if that's really a main concern for them, that's an easy problem to solve. So.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to expand on this, Okins?
With food, I'm sure there's a variety of different foods, and there doesn't need to be specifically fish, but if you want there to be a different food, we might be able to contact ArenaNet to find that out.
Oh, wow.
Alright, I like that. Okay, another question. This is, for Okins. Who would you relate more to, Obama, Hitler, or Kim Jong-il, and why?
I would probably relate more to Obama because he's black.
Oh.
Care to explain?
You're a black person?
I like black people.
Okay. So you're saying Kim Jong-il doesn't like black people? Or he's
Just
not
racist.
black?
That's not what I said. Don't put words in my mouth.
You don't have to spoon.
Alright, what about you? What about you, Ricky?
Well, it's a close one. I think we all get a little delusional sometimes, so Kim Jong-il is right up my alley, but I'd probably identify mostly with Obama because I don't like to be racist and put people into categories just by the color of their skin. So that's probably who I'd identify with. He's, I don't know about all his policies, but they're definitely closer to mine than Hitler's are. Although it's not 100%. But yeah, I like Obama. He's a cool guy.
Alright.
We're bros.
Okay, Ricky, what will you do to encourage more guild events / mission participation?
Ah, yes. Well, that's kind of two different issues, but events, obviously, I've been already kind of starting a few events, hide and seek and all that stuff. But my main goal is to get the events department functional, which should be able to spew out events, every week or every couple times a week. Maybe more exciting ones like guild races, tournaments for PvP, even maybe joke tournaments. Everyone has to play Thief with one pistol or something. There's a lot of good ideas that I think not only I have, but we can get out of the guild members, and that's a really good opportunity to involve everyone is in these departments, like a few of the departments like education and events
Justice.
And media. Less justice, but to some extent, getting people to have jobs so that, they know what they can do and they don't have to necessarily be exploring or, farming all day, that they have something to go in the game and they can maybe start thinking of a new event and get the event department to help out with it. We can do that as a guild, and that'll be, exciting. So I think that's pretty bright future there as far as events. There's just so many to do. The getting people to participate in like guild mission stuff is going to be trickier, and I'm not going to say I have all the solutions, but I think getting people involved in other events, and having fun things to do and jobs and other involvement in the guild will just get people more often, and they'll be more excited. And a lot of it is getting in contact with some of the new people we have and just, making sure they get involved and they meet everybody and they get on TS, and then they'll obviously want to do the guild missions a lot more, at least if they feel more comfortable.
Alright, is there anything you'd like to say about that, Oken?
Well, like I said, I don't know too much about what committees are being made, but it sounds like there's an event and media committee that should be somewhat in charge of helping getting the word out there and also getting ideas from other guild mates. I've been trying to get people more interested into the Dovey Dove, which is almost an untapped event category because not a lot of people do it, but it's still yet fun to do if you have a group and have a big group to play with.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Okins, for you, what is your recruiting strategy?
Well, like Ricky kind of touched on, a little bit stricter of a recruiting process instead of just bringing in random people. I know the old recruiting process was we wanted to get a total of 300 and some members just to get the number of 300 some members, which actually shouldn't be the focus. The focus should be not quantity of people, but the quality of people. We don't want a bunch of random people who don't really want to hang out with us. They just want to be in a guild for some random reason.
Let's kick Mike and like.
Okay. Calm down, Ben.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, this is one place I think we differ a little bit. I've always been more of a quantity over quality kind of guy. Not necessarily not at the end of the day, but I feel like if we can get a good number of people coming into the guild, we can kind of. We can train. If people are cool in general, we can train them. And if they're not cool, they're going to drift away. I think we do need a lot more. Number one, we need some structure to help people who are new, or just these random people, and we need to get them excited and confident that they can improve and be more active in the guild. And we do kind of need to keep track of who is just not really functional, who's in other guilds at this point not representing, and we at a certain point we're gonna fill up on spots, and then we'll have to start kicking the people who are like not even in the guild. So I don't see having that number of people in the guild as being important, but I do like having more people, because I know a lot of the officers we can't be active at 20 like every single day even. I'm always on every day, but we can't always be around, so that we need more people in there to, otherwise it becomes a ghost town. Everyone gets depressed. So I'm for more. I don't know about having stricter requirements just to get in the guild, or at least not like really hard requirements, but maybe putting people through a test to see if they are going to like what we do in the guild is not a bad idea.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Next question. Do you promise to follow in the honored steps of the best Korean leader, Kim Jong-il?
That's for me.
Yes. Ricky.
Well, it's a big question. I think I'm prepared to handle that. I personally prefer Kim Il Sung. His, I think, father preceded him, but Kim Jong Il is a great guy. He's a dreamer, I'd say. He didn't have a very good situation to work with there in North Korea, and obviously he's done a lot of horrible atrocities. So I don't really want to represent him in the iron-fisted, absurd government way. But when it comes to never defecating and living forever and being descended from heaven, I think those are all things that we want to emulate. So I would love to ride on rainbows, and that really is one of the reasons I want the Dreamer as a legendary someday for my thief. I think I'd maybe get a name change contract to turn my thief to Kim Jong-il if there was a really strong contingent from the guild that wanted a Commander Kim Jong-il with the rainbow thing, but we'll see.
Great. And you, Okin?
Hey, you got to play the cards you're dealt, and I think he's done a great job. So there we go.
Okay, short and sweet, to the point. Okay. Okay. Next question. For you, Okins. How much time do you plan on devoting to the guild? Maybe on a weekly basis, if you are elected leader, of course.
Sorry, say that one more time. You were cutting a little bit out for me.
Oh, sorry. How much time do you plan on devoting to the guild on a weekly basis if you're elected?
Well, I do have school and class that I do have to attend, so I cannot be on here 24/7, sadly. But on the other hand, I am on here daily, so if not every day, once a day, I am at least on here for anywhere from an hour to 4, 5, 6 hours, just depending on what I do. So.
Okay. And
Jack, where are you?
Same question for you, Ricky.
Yeah. Well, as far as logging on into the game, I of course get all my dailies every day, which takes, if I'm lucky, an hour, sometimes several hours at least. And I put obviously a lot of time in. It won't be hugely different if I am the elected leader. I guess I should mention that. I don't know if Okins would be playing more or less if he was leader, but I mean, I plan on playing quite a bit and being active in the guild, regardless of whether I'm elected. But I mean, I don't know if how often people see me, but I'm on quite a bit. So I think it is important for a leader to at least be around once a day or twice a day, pretty frequently, so that if something comes up, they can deal with it, and there's kind of a presence they can see. It's so hard with alts and stuff, though, to be seen that you want to get out there a lot. But I would probably at least 15 hours a week, probably more obviously 30.
Okay. And so this is just a general question for any of our listeners. Could you please explain, this is pretty much just for Ricky, but could you please explain the whole guild election process?
Sure. I mean, there's the lovely Prezi, which should be really easy to read through, but so the idea is for the elections, and this election is a little bit more crazy because we don't have any of the structure, like the departments in place. In theory, I don't know how often we're going to run them yet. The committee has to decide that. We've only had, this is the second one, if you guys didn't realize. The first one we had was electing Wazi like a month or 3 ago. And this one's a little bit more formal. That's why I have the Google poll. But I'd really like to get it into a third party, because I don't really want to be in control of the polling. It's kind of a little shady. So the way it works is that everyone in the guild gets to vote for the guild leader, and then the leader, has various duties. The officers aren't really elected at this point. It's not impossible we would expand elections, but it hasn't been a lot of call for that. The main idea is everyone has some amount of time to get in there, and it's hard right now because I couldn't get in contact with everyone. But if we have a more of an elections department, there can be a person who's setting up debates like this, which would be, I think, is interesting. Last time we did it, it was exciting. Everyone got excited about it. It was just kind of a joke, but it's still some way to bring the guild a little bit more flesh and excitement.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Okins, what would you do in the event of a guild shutdown? I'm not completely sure. I mean, if you would like to expand on this. I mean, I'm guessing that just means if the guild was maybe from what happened previously, the whole Kilman thing where the guild would split apart and there was different viewpoints and people were arguing. How would you exactly deal with something like that?
Well, I think that as an officer, I supported who was in charge at the time, and I think they handled it quite well. And the fact that they set forth that this is what the guild stands for and this is what the guild is doing at this moment, and if you don't want to if you have a problem with that and you are causing troubles, then maybe the guild isn't the right place for you.
Okay. Yeah. And you, Ricky?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much transparency people really expect, but we try and be pretty transparent. It's just there isn't really a record of a lot of these things, so people don't always get the right picture, or the exact know what's going on, which is maybe better or worse. So, but in these kind of situations, I'm usually trying to be a little bit more open and lenient to people, making amends if there's a problem, or we can work on things, because usually it's just a miscommunication issue. Even with Kilman, there's just mostly miscommunication, but there's also added on a layer of delusion that we had to eventually deal with, and we kept him for a long time, and maybe we didn't make things clear enough early on, because I know I wasn't there during a lot of the significant events, so I couldn't really see what was going on. But I think we'd probably deal with a lot of these similar situations. Guild shutdown specifically would have to be if someone somehow got in control of the guild and kicked everyone, or that's not technically impossible. If someone got elected and then they got hacked or something like that.
Yeah.
I have some plans about that already planned for not getting hacked, but I mean, at that point we'd probably just have to restart a new guild. Contact support, obviously, they don't usually have a very good record of dealing with these, because they kind of say that you're just screwed if you have to keep control of this yourself, or they don't want to deal with it all the time.
Yeah.
But we would obviously try that, and we would have to reform the guild. We'd have to redo all the upgrades and stuff, but it might be kind of fun. It would be really awful, but it would at least bring us close together in our time of sadness.
All right.
It'd be good to have an external roster for that though, because it would be sad to like lose people and not be able to reinvite them if we don't know their names.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If you could summarize the goals of our guild, how exactly would you do that? That's for you, Ricky.
Oh wow, that's a tough one. I mean, obviously, it's always kind of changing. It depends on who's in charge and who's in the guild and what they're interested in. It's pretty clear that we're kind of a PvE guild at the moment, at least. We're always been kind of focused on letting people have a way to do dungeons together and just be friends on TS and not have to go and pug it all day and be lonely. It's mostly primarily a social guild and then being able to do PvE content together. As far as future goals, I think number one, the guild government right now is pretty big. I think it's going to make a little bit of difference on how the guild works, but primarily the goal is just getting this structure to help everyone get new players acquainted and have more events and have more money and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know about how we're going to deal with goals for PvP or WW, which obviously are not strong focuses. I think Okins is pretty interested in that. I'm not sure that we're necessarily going to become a major World vs. World presence, but I think right now we're pretty much still focused on being the best PvE and social guild we can.
All right. And Oaken, same question. If you could summarize the goals of our guild, how exactly would you do that?
1 second.
Okay.
I would say that the goals of the guild are Ricky much hit it, but with the emphasis when I said to World v World or WW, I know some people are into that, and it's just bringing it out, and it'd probably bring more people to TS and bring more friendly faces around because some of us we don't focus on it that much, but it's still fun to do as a group but not necessarily the strong focus of what we do. We usually are PvE and doing world events. We're definitely a friendly guild, and we like to pride ourselves on that. We don't like to push anybody out for any particular reason. So we like to bring people in, and if they're good personality and good fit for us, and then good for us. We got another great person.
Great. Okay, and this is our last user submitted question. Please, I'd like you guys to start at the same time, but if you guys could please recite as much of the Ultimate Showdown as possible. And this will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Doesn't it start with the final countdown? Can help me out.
It's the Ultimate Showdown.
Someone start a beat.
What is the Ultimate Showdown?
Wait, is that the
countdown?
This
Wait, am I getting it wrong?
Ultimate
Showdown
of Ultimate Destiny.
Ultimate.
Got bad guys and explosions.
Yeah, I'll have to pass on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we have a media department that Jack is in charge of.
Yeah.
Wait a sec, isn't this that Gary Glitter song?
I hate doing karaoke, so media department will not take care of karaoke, except that one case where
Alright, that'll be
Mario was Smeagol.
Hey, fun fact about that song, it's written by a guy who would go to like freaking Colombia or no, my bad, Cambodia and little boys. So
wow.
Yeah,
Oh, perfect.
just heads up.
Terrifying.
Creative, but terrifying. Yeah, I don't know if I obviously failed at that, so maybe you should have liked Arc Rock or something, but I'm sure you would get it all. Yeah, if you guys want to, if you don't know how to vote, there's the link it's not in this TS, but it's in the guild message right now and on Facebook. You can look at the link for the
Post
poll.
on YouTube video.
Yes, that's also an option. It can be in the description.
Feel like I missed
In fact,
pretty
if
much
you were to
most
say
of the debate.
Check
That's fine.
down in the description below. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and we'll have the election. I think we'll call it on Sunday or Monday or whatever. Maybe Sunday at midnight or something like that. So plenty of time, and you can change your vote if you want. I figure out it's a lot easier to get rid of multiple votes if they come up, because I can just delete them. By the way.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks so much.
Take
I'm
care,
honored.
everyone.